This first story comes from a janitor named Marcus, who worked the graveyard shift at a hospital in Detroit for over 5 years. He'd seen a lot. People die, families grieve, the usual darkness that comes with hospital work. But nothing prepared him for what happened one October night in 2019. The hospital was doing renovations on the pediatric wing. The entire floor had been emptied 2 weeks earlier. All patients transferred, equipment moved, even the nurses' station cleared out. Marcus's job was to clean the empty rooms each night before the construction crews arrived in the morning. It was around 3 a.m. when he started on the pediatric floor. The hallway lights were dimmed and his footsteps echoed in the emptiness. He'd cleaned rooms 1 through 6 without incident, just empty beds, bare walls, that hospital smell of disinfectant, and nothing else. Then he heard it. A child's laugh, high-pitched, delighted, coming from down the hall. Marcus froze. The floor was supposed to be completely empty. No patients, no staff, just him. "Hello?" he called out. No response. Just silence. He continued to room 7, pushing his cart. The door was slightly open, which was odd. He'd closed all the doors the night before. Marcus pushed it wider and stepped inside. The room looked the same as all the others. Empty bed, bare walls, window showing the Detroit skyline at night. Nothing unusual. Except the bed wasn't made. Marcus distinctly remembered making every bed on this floor 3 nights ago, hospital corners, the way he'd been trained. But this bed looked slept in. The sheets were rumpled, the pillow had an indentation, like someone had just been lying there. He approached the bed slowly. That's when he noticed something on the pillow. A small teddy bear. Old, worn, like it had been loved by a child for years. Marcus's skin crawled. He'd never seen that bear before. The floor had been empty for 2 weeks. Where did it come from? Then he heard breathing. Soft, steady breathing, the sound of a child sleeping. But there was no one in the room. Marcus backed away from the bed, his heart pounding. The breathing continued. In, out, like someone was lying right there, even though he could see the bed was empty. He turned to leave, and that's when he heard the voice. "Don't go." A child's voice, small, sad, coming from the bed. Marcus ran. He didn't care about protocol or his cart or anything else. He ran to the elevator, jabbed the button, and didn't stop shaking until he was on the ground floor. He tried to tell himself it was just his imagination, tiredness, the mind playing tricks in an empty hospital at 3 a.m. But the next night when he returned to work, his supervisor called him into the office. "Marcus, did you take something from the pediatric floor? A teddy bear?" His blood ran cold. "No, why?" "We found it on your cart in room 7. Strange thing is, that bear belongs to a patient who died in that room 3 months ago. Her parents donated it to the hospital before they moved away. We've been looking for it, thought it was lost in the move. How did it get on your cart?" Marcus never went back to the pediatric floor alone, and sometimes, late at night, other staff report hearing a child laughing in the closed wing. The hospital still doesn't know how the bear got back to room 7. This next story takes place in a small roadside hotel outside Las Vegas. It was sent to me by a woman named Sarah who worked the night desk from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. She said it's the reason she now only works day shifts. It was a Tuesday night in June, around 2 a.m. The hotel was quiet, only 6 rooms occupied out of 40. Sarah was doing paperwork when she heard the front door chime. A man walked in, mid-50s, wearing a brown suit and tie, carrying an old leather suitcase. He looked tired, like he'd been driving for hours. "Good evening," he said. "I'd like a room, please, just for the night." Sarah smiled. "Of course. Can I see your ID and a credit card?" The man reached into his jacket and pulled out a wallet. He handed her a driver's license. Sarah looked at the license and felt her smile fade. Something was wrong with it. The photo looked old, the style from the early 2000s, but what really caught her attention was the name, Robert Mitchell. She knew that name. She'd worked at this hotel for 3 years, and the previous night manager had told her stories. Robert Mitchell had been a regular guest, stayed at the hotel every Tuesday night for work, until 7 years ago, when he died in a car accident on the highway just outside town. Sarah looked up at the man. He was smiling at her patiently. Is this a joke?" she asked carefully. "I'm sorry?" The man looked genuinely confused. "This ID, it says Robert Mitchell. That's my name," he said simply. Sarah felt her hands trembling. "Sir, Robert Mitchell died 7 years ago. There was a car accident." The man's smile didn't waver. "I know." Sarah's breath caught. "What?" "I know I died," he said calmly, "but I always stay here on Tuesday nights. It's the one thing I can't seem to stop doing. So, may I have my usual room, room 23? Sarah couldn't speak. She couldn't move. The man, or whatever he was, just stood there waiting. "I don't mean to frighten you," he continued. "Most night clerks don't notice. They just check me in, I go to my room, and by morning I'm gone. But you knew my name. That's rare." "Why are you here?" Sarah managed to whisper. Robert Mitchell looked sad. "I don't know. I was driving to a meeting, same route I drove every Tuesday for 12 years. I don't remember the accident. I just remember waking up in room 23, like always, and every Tuesday since I come back. I don't know how to stop." Sarah's mind was racing. This couldn't be real, but the man standing in front of her looked so solid, so real. What do you want from me?" "Just room 23, please." Sarah don't know why she did it. Maybe because he seemed so lost, so tired. Maybe because she was too scared to refuse. But she took a key from the drawer, the old metal key for room 23, the one they kept for emergencies since the room's electronic lock had broken years ago and never been replaced. She handed it to him. "Thank you," Robert Mitchell said. He picked up his suitcase and walked down the hallway. Sarah watched him go. When he reached room 23, he unlocked the door and went inside. The door closed behind him. Sarah sat frozen at the desk for the next 5 hours. She didn't move, didn't take her eyes off the hallway. At 7 a.m., when the day shift clerk arrived, Sarah told her everything. Together, they went to room 23. The door was locked. Sarah used the master key to open it. The room was empty. The bed hadn't been slept in. No luggage, no sign anyone had been there. But on the desk, there was a business card, yellowed with age, the edges worn. It read, "Robert Mitchell, sales representative." Sarah quit that night. She told me that room 23 is still in the system as occupied every Tuesday night, even though no one ever checks in. The hotel management doesn't talk about it, but the night staff know. Every Tuesday at 2 a.m., they hear footsteps in the hallway, walking to room 23, and in the morning, the key is back on the hook. This story is probably the most disturbing one I'm going to share tonight, and it comes from a security guard in New Jersey named David. This happened in the winter of 2020. David worked the midnight shift at a large distribution warehouse, the kind of place with millions of square feet of storage, hundreds of loading docks, and at night, just 2 security guards patrolling the entire facility. It was around 1 a.m. when David was doing his rounds near the east loading docks. These particular docks had been closed for months. The company was downsizing and this section wasn't being used anymore. No trucks, no workers, just empty concrete bays. David was walking past Dock 17 when he noticed something strange. One of the bay doors was partially open, about 2 feet of space between the door and the ground. That shouldn't be possible. These doors were kept locked when not in use. David had checked them himself at the start of his shift. He approached carefully, flashlight in hand. As he got closer, he could see something in the dap under the door. Legs. Human legs. Someone was lying on the other side of the door, on the loading dock. "Hey!" David shouted. "This is security! Who's there?" No response. The legs didn't move. David's training kicked in. He called his partner on the radio and tried to raise the bay door, but it wouldn't budge. Something was blocking it from rising more than those 2 feet. He could hear his partner running from across the warehouse. David got down on his stomach and shined his flashlight under the door. What he saw made his blood run cold. It was a man lying face down on the loading dock, but something was very wrong. The man was wearing a security guard uniform, David's company's uniform, and it was covered in blood. David scrambled backward. His partner, Luis, arrived. "Call 911, David yelled. "There's someone hurt out there." Luis immediately called. While they waited for the police, David tried again to see under the door. The body had moved. He couldn't see the face, but he could see the name tag. It said, David. That was impossible. David was standing right here. The police arrived within 10 minutes. They forced the bay door open. There was nothing there. No body, no blood. The loading dock was completely empty. David insisted on what he'd seen. Luis backed him up. He'd seen the legs too, though he hadn't gotten close enough to see the uniform or the blood. The police searched the entire area. Nothing. No signs anyone had been there. But then they found something that made David's skin crawl. On the concrete floor of the loading dock, barely visible, was a date written in what looked like chalk, 12/18/2020. That was the current date, that night. Below it, someone had written, "Don't work alone." The police took photos and filed a report. They found no evidence of a break-in or any intruders. David wanted to quit right there, but Luis convinced him to finish the shift together. They stayed side by side for the rest of the night. 3 days later, David learned something that made everything worse. He was looking through old company records for an unrelated reason when he found something in the archives. 5 years earlier, a security guard had died at the warehouse. He'd been working alone on the night shift when he'd had a heart attack near the east loading docks. He tried to call for help but couldn't reach his radio in time. The guard's name was David Martinez, the same David as the current David's name. David immediately requested a transfer to day shift. The company granted it. But before he left the night shift, he went back to Dock 17 one more time. He needed to see it in daylight. On the concrete floor, very faintly, he could still see the chalk message, except now he noticed something he'd missed before. Below, "Don't work alone," there was another line, so faint he almost didn't see it. It said, "I didn't." David never worked security again. He told me that Dock 17 is now permanently sealed. The company claimed it was for structural reasons, but the night security staff know better. They always work in pairs now, always, and they never, ever patrol near Dock 17 alone. This story comes from Montana and was shared by a gas station attendant named Emma. It's less violent than the last one, but in some ways it's even more unsettling. Emma worked at a 24-hour gas station on a lonely stretch of highway between 2 small towns. During the day, they'd get maybe 20 customers. At night, between midnight and 6 a.m., she'd be lucky to see 5. She'd been working there about 3 months when she started noticing a regular customer, an old man, probably in his 70s, driving a beat-up blue pickup truck. He'd come in every Friday night around 2 a.m., buy a coffee and a pack of cigarettes, pay an exact change, and leave. Never said much beyond, "Thank you," but he was friendly enough, always smiled. This went on for weeks, every Friday, 2 a.m., like clockwork. Emma started to expect him. She'd even have his coffee ready, black, no sugar. Then one Friday night, he came in and something was different. He looked off, paler than usual. His smile seemed sad. "Your usual?" Emma asked, holding up the coffee. The old man nodded, but when he reached for his wallet, his hand passed right through his pocket. Emma blinked. She must have imagined it. He tried again. This time she saw it clearly. His hand went through the fabric like it wasn't there. The old man looked down at his hand, then up at Emma. There were tears in his eyes. "I think," he said quietly, "I think it's time for me to go." "What do you mean?" Emma asked, her voice shaking. "I've been coming here for 40 years, he said. "Every Friday night, same time, same order. Even after I retired, even after my wife died, it was just what I did, a routine." "Okay," Emma said carefully, not understanding. "I died last Tuesday. Heart attack, at home. My daughter found me, but Friday came and I couldn't not come here. I didn't even realize I was dead until I tried to pay." Emma felt like the ground had dropped away. "I think I've been holding on to this one little routine, but it's time to let go. So I wanted to say goodbye and thank you for always having my coffee ready." Emma couldn't speak. She just stared as the old man smiled one more time, turned, and walked toward the door. But he didn't go through the door. He just faded like smoke until he was gone. Emma stood there for a long time. Finally, she called her manager, told him she was feeling sick, and went home. The next day, she looked up obituaries. She found him. Thomas Mackenzie, 74, died of a heart attack the previous Tuesday, survived by one daughter. Services held Thursday. The obituary mentioned that Thomas had been a truck driver for 40 years, always drove the same route, and had a habit of stopping at the same gas station every Friday night for coffee and cigarettes, even in retirement. Emma quit 2 weeks later. She couldn't handle the thought of being there on a Friday night at 2 a.m., not knowing if he might come back. But the new night attendant told me something interesting. Every Friday night at exactly 2 a.m., a cup of black coffee disappears from the pot, just empties itself. The coffee is always perfectly hot, and in the morning they find exact change on the counter, $2.50, the price of a coffee and cigarettes. For the final story, I'm going back to a corporate high-rise in Chicago. This was shared by a cleaner named Maria, and it happened just last year. Maria had been cleaning office buildings for 20 years. She'd seen it all, or so she thought. This particular building was a 30-story tower in downtown Chicago. Maria's crew cleaned floors 10 through 20, always starting at 10 p.m. after the office workers left. The building had a quirk. Like many tall buildings, it didn't have a labeled 13th floor. The elevator went from 12 to 14, superstition. Except the building did have a 13th floor. Technically, you just couldn't access it from the elevator. Maria had been told about it when she started. The 13th floor was mechanical space, HVAC equipment, electrical systems, that sort of thing. Only maintenance had access through a locked stairwell. For 3 months, Maria cleaned her assigned floors without incident. Professional, efficient, no problems. Then one night in November, Maria was cleaning the 14th floor when she noticed something strange. The elevator dinged. The doors opened. Maria looked over. The elevator was empty. The doors closed again. A minute later, the elevator dinged again. Doors opened, empty, doors closed. This happened 5 times in 10 minutes. Maria called building security on her radio. "Hey, something's wrong with the elevator on 14, keeps opening and closing." "Which elevator?" security asked. "Number 3. There was a pause. "Maria, there is no elevator 3 on the 14th floor, only elevators 1 and 2. Maria looked. Sure enough, the elevator that kept opening had a 3 displayed above it, but she'd never noticed a 3rd elevator before. "That's weird," she said, "but it's here, keeps opening to an empty car." Another pause. "Maria, stay where you are, we're coming up." Maria waited. The elevator dinged again. Doors opened. This time it wasn't empty. A man stood inside, business suit, briefcase, facing away from her. "Excuse me, sir, the building is closed," Maria called out. The man didn't turn, didn't move. "Sir?" Slowly, the man turned around. His face was blank, not like he had no expression. He literally had no face, smooth skin where eyes, nose, mouth should be. Maria screamed. The elevator doors closed. She ran for the stairwell, nearly falling down the stairs in her panic. She met security in the lobby. They went back up together. There was no elevator 3, just 1 and 2 like always. Security checked the elevator logs. No activity on any elevator on the 14th floor at the time Maria reported. But they did find something strange. The access log for the 13th floor stairwell showed a door opening at the exact time Maria saw the faceless man. From the inside. The stairwell had been locked. No one had access except maintenance, and no maintenance was scheduled that night. Security reviewed the camera footage from the 13th floor stairwell. The video showed the door opening by itself, no one visible. But as the door swung open, you could see into the 13th floor for just a moment. The entire floor was full of people, dozens of them, all in business attire, all standing perfectly still, all facing the camera, all with blank faces. The door closed. The footage continued. Nothing else happened. Maria quit that night. She refused to go back, even to collect her final paycheck. She had them mail it. The building management sealed the 13th floor stairwell permanently. They claimed it was for safety reasons. But the night cleaning crew refuses to work floors 12 or 14 anymore. They say sometimes late at night, they can hear footsteps above and below them, walking in perfect synchronization. And if you count the windows from outside the building, there are definitely 30 floors, not 29. The 13th floor is there. It's always been there. And whatever's on it doesn't want to be forgotten. Those were 5 disturbing true stories from night shift workers, people who work while the world sleeps and sometimes encounter things that shouldn't be possible. If you work the night shift and had a strange experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. I share stories like these every week. And if you're working the night shift tonight, stay safe out there.